It's also it's also a stove. Sure. You.
For now, I have one that you
Oh, okay.
and you guys have two.
No.
Yeah.
So I was trying to decide if we're gonna be nice and like do the scene properly or did those make groups sit whatever. They're lost for being okay.
I don't know, my friend was supposed to be in New Zealand, so signed up to do it fully, and then he came back.
So now I'm just sitting at home with it's like I got this.
So in like 2 hours, they're still in BC. Hey, show up.
Just come actually show up.
Yeah, they do.
Literally, I thought you said there was something.
They are.
I think you might have.
But
I think you just really didn't offer.
sure, yeah, let's go with that. Let's go with that. It's super evil.
Well, we know you're super evil. That's not really up for debate here. It's not where the question lies.
Yeah, but you can play the one, they'll just sign up.
Yeah, I think.
Sure.
So, the thing I got from the email, she got tickets. I didn't look for the answer.
I still don't know what I'm doing here.
Figure it out.
I just don't go to the arguable.
So we did an example of our project.
That's perfect. You're right. You're in the right place. You're in the right place.
How do we do that in our team?
What's your project?
It's actually an arc sensor. Actually, don't use this.
So, basically, so like, where does it send some
Yeah, like 5 years.
Is there an issue with holding driving off
Yes. But I don't know, most of like extreme athletes and like racing and stuff. Like dirt bikes or just it's like holding on too hard and then muscles in your wrist start to swell. So then you lost the nerves. And so then you can't hold on. So you squeeze even tighter and it makes the problem even worse. Pretty interesting.
We probably have done we have a lot of things if
Oh, sweet.
and then the rest of them Android development before. Look at it's yeah, we'll figure it out as we go.
Should be fun. Sure, it's good.
I'm sure it'll be a sales pitch more than anything. Yeah.
Probably. I don't think they put it down to where does the Android
I don't think Android's much of a problem.
It's just getting used to the environment where versus where at least that's maybe the thing. I wish we figured that out. We did. It's like a bit more like
We shall see.
show.
It's really sad last year. It's like Jimmy had like lots of people, lots of help for like the entire time.
Well, it's like, it's how do you do this?
I'm trying to think about projects. I ended up looking at everything after I just knew how to turn on using it. So I was like trying to think about what did except for what they did last year. They did like a program that makes chips of you, I guess. I don't know, it looked really cool. I
So they can make
So they brought in a ringers, which It doesn't seem fair.
I don't know. It's like a development you can't develop like an actual sensor.
As lawyers as you can.
Where they go semiconductor. Should have gotten something more mainstream. It's a Nordic semiconductor NRF agency.
That's not really shaky, man.
It was funny because like the developer board came with 5 of their little processor chips. It's like, I'm never going to use these chips on like what? The next service mode.
So actually something useful in the announcement, so it's like a safe.
It's just say come here.
Thank you for your honesty.
Yes, is all it says. But it's like sent it out and nobody moved, and I'm like, okay, nobody's got Slack open.
I do, but it's over there, and I'm over here. And I'm already here, so you're messing with each other.
Oh, wires, why are they in the way?
Perhaps. Oh, sweet.
So what we're doing today is oh yeah. Well, I think that's the same kids. I came back from the
You're live streaming? You're streaming this? We're streaming this. Awesome. Just want to make sure I didn't have to stand anywhere in particular.
So, your website will be
okay. I just like the link. So you're opening. Yeah. I'll take over. Yeah. When I told them in the front, they instantly see Ben ship him here.
Oh, he's here.
Oh, Ben's here?
Ben's right there.
Oh, hey, Ben. There we go. I was looking for you. Nice to see you.
Okay, are you guys presenting behind this?
I'm not presenting.
Are you presenting?
I've got to read some notes, so I will have to.
Excellent, you can use this.
Yeah, I just need to for logistics stuff. Yeah.
My camera is filming. Curtis is saying, do we want to do like hype? No. Do you want me to do hype?
And then
I don't know if I'm awake enough to do hype.
It'd be great if we could have one person head around to just make sure there's no stragglers and send them in.
just about ready.
Yep. It's gonna be good.
We're like
I'm assuming we're
running right on time.
There's gonna be. I'm assuming right at 12 we're gonna have another rush of people.
Yeah.
Like just people who are like.
So when we talk about allocating the internet,
Yes.
I
was gonna say, how do you want to split it?
Yeah, we want to kind of go 50-50 between the member and the guest.
Yeah.
But I think if we just go based on the room, like
Just literally.
we'll have this open space out here where the largest number of people are on the guests, and then anyone else will be on the member.
Okay. So yeah, I'll let you explain that then.
What's that?
I'll let you explain that.
Yes. And we will.
We should have a slide with the credentials on it.
With the what?
Oh yeah, there they are, right there. Never mind.
With the Wi-Fi passwords?
Yeah, it's on there. I see it. Okay.
And then we'll also have that posted in an announcement for easy reference for everyone. So makes it.
Yeah, well, we're gonna post this for the announcements. This slides. These slides. Cool. I'm going to quickly edit this slide and add that, actually, the file server. Good.
But yeah, will that update me on the presentation like live? Because this is already on
We
there.
might need to refresh it.
So I'm gonna introduce us organizers.
Oh no, well, I can refresh it live if I have to.
Yeah, introduce organizer, introduce you, and that's it. And then yell.
Hi, organizer.
That sounds good.
Yeah. I'll sit over here.
Organizers.
Oh, where's Ben? Shoot. Archie. Okay, awesome, we're good. Right on time.
I remember
Everyone's here. I think we're good to go. Arjun, let's go. Yeah. Who's someone's up at the front?
Shelly is.
Oh, okay. Shelly? Oh, okay.
Yeah, but she didn't organize, so we're just gonna have her sitting right now.
Sounds good.
Everyone. I can't even do that. I have to yell. I can't do it. I can't.
I'm solid.
I was actually pretending to like be quiet because that's like not me at all. Because I'm fucking loud. Who's hype? Nobody's hype. Who wants some swag? Hands up! Hands up! Hands up! Hands up! Let's go! Let's go! Let's go! Let's go! He's yelling. I can't hear anybody. That's a weak one.
All up.
Yo, alright. Alright. Yo, let me ask one more time. Who's hype? That's what I'm talking about. Alright. We're gonna ask you to do stuff. Organizers. So, this event is organized by the Computer Engineering Club, and within the Computer Engineering Club, the Hackathon team. Shout out to President Jessica. Shout out to VP Externals and Sponsorship peeps, Curtis and George. Shout out to Marketing, Bianca. Shout out to Ahmed Communications. Shout out to Marcus.
He's right there, outside.
Marcus is right over there. You can see him in the class. Shout out to Marcus.
And Dea.
Yo.
And shout out to Marcus so he can hear you. And of course, Momo, Dea, Mohammed, I call him Momo. It's so slick. And then obviously me, whatever.
Shout out to
Right, so these are the people that you can go to for organizing. People have been asking me for extension cords. Oh, and of course Warren. Yo, shout out to Warren. So these are the people you can go go to for things like extension cords when there's no toilet paper in the bathroom, etc., etc.
Please know that beforehand.
Yeah, please don't walk out of the bathroom.
Just slide.
All right, those are the people you can come to for things. What's this? I think I was just supposed to introduce you. Yeah, cool. Right. So please, huge round of applause to the person that makes this happen here, Warren Johnson.
Great. We're super excited to have everyone here for the weekend. How many of you have been out to a hackathon at Startup Edmonton before? Okay, actually, how many are new? How many is your first time here at Startup Edmonton? First time hackathon? Awesome. Woo! Thanks so much for coming. Oh, does this work?
I don't think so.
Technology.
Here, I'll have to go for you.
It's now just a laser pointer. Cool. So I wanted to kind of dial it down to one sentence what it is we do here at Startup Edmonton. I could not do that. I had to add some bullet points. But for those of you who are new, we're here to support the tech community in your city. And through events like this, it's a really, really good way for you to get to know those people, the people that are really going to be your future coworkers. So you really like to come out and support these types of events. So I'm really, really proud of the team this year and the sponsors that they put together. I had absolutely no part in that, which was really awesome this year. They took care of it completely. So just one round of applause for those organizers. On a regular basis, there's lots of stuff going on throughout the tech community here. Startup Edmonton specifically, what we do is we support early stage companies and founders through programs and mentorship. We have this great co-working space that you're going to get to know really well over the course of this weekend. As an aside, it is like a 120-year-old building, so there's kind of some romantic things that maybe are not ideal, but we deal with. So when it comes to power and potentially, rain coming in and that kind of stuff. Just as a heads up, that could happen. If it does, you now know you can find me or someone else on the team and we can help deal with that. If you blow a breaker or anything like that, it's totally cool. We'll fix it. So we're kind of hacking the space as we go. We do have about 40 companies that work out of the space on a regular basis, so you might see a couple of them kind of in and out on their usual weekend routines today as well. And then it's really a space for the community to come together on a consistent basis. We have really great meetup organizers like Ben, who you'll hear from today, that you can come out to on a regular basis. Monthly meetups that go on here around different technical topics. It's a really good way for you to kind of get off campus and meet some of the people around the community and draw some fun projects. And then hit and flip for me. Oh, okay, cool. I wanted to, you're probably like, why are you talking so much about Startup Edmonton? So I want to talk specifically about some student stuff. You can flip again. That's going on right away. So you can really look at Startup Edmonton and supporting you guys as technical students through things like this, through hackathons and monthly hack days. We have a student membership that you can sign up for at startupedmonton.com/students. It's free, and it's a really good way to just stay in the loop on relevant things that are coming up throughout the year that we really want you to come out to. Things like our Student Developer Conference. It's a full day dedicated to connecting with the local tech community, hearing from some really great presenters, speakers coming in from companies abroad like Apple and Airbnb, but also from some of the really important fast growth companies we have here in Edmonton, like Jobber and Drivewise, Granify, teams like that. And again, just come out. You'll hear from all the mentors that you'll meet throughout this weekend, and as well if you talk to me or anyone within the Compy Club that's been participating in things like hackathons over previous years. There's a really fucking awesome tech community here in Edmonton that really wants to meet you guys early and often and help you become better, whether you want to be a founder or a developer, UX designer, it doesn't matter, whatever field you want to go into, people want to help you to do that better, faster, and stronger.
Woo! Shout out to my community, it's awesome!
On that note, something next week that I'm going to be coming around and asking you guys about this weekend. We do a really fun event every couple of months called Demo Camp. We host it over at the university because we can't fit it in this room, which is a good problem to have. And it's a show and tell. So we bring out projects and products from around the city, really fun things that people are working on that are worth sharing. And they have 7 minutes to show those off with no pitching. And it's a really a fun environment to just share things that people around the community are going to want to know about. So it's a mix of early stage projects, new product features for companies like Jobber. There's a guy last year that showed off a really cool lightsaber, had an accelerometer in it, so it would actually generate noise as he moved around. It was really fun. So really cool stuff. It's also a great way to meet those companies that are hiring. There's always teams there that are saying like, hey, we're looking for these roles, come find us afterwards. And for you guys, what you work on this weekend, we're going to save a couple slots at this demo camp. So if any of you want to have the opportunity to present and to share what you accomplished, we're going to create some sort of mini slots. You don't have to use the full 7 minutes if you didn't accomplish 7 minutes worth of stuff to show off. But it's just a really good chance to go through those motions, get in front of a really great audience of people that want to connect and see what you're up to. So it's going to be in the CCIS building over at the U of A, 7 p.m. on Tuesday. I imagine a lot of the mentors that you'll meet throughout this weekend will be there as well. It's a really cool lineup of demos this time around. And the good news is afterwards, everybody goes for drinks, and there's always awesome teams like Jobber that are around to buy those drinks for you guys as technical students. So I'll see you there as well. But we've got a few things to burn through. You probably have a few questions as you've been settling in and wondering like, why is this Wi-Fi so slow? Or how do I get another chair? Or things like that. We're going to cover all of that as well as answer any questions you have. So Curtis is going to blaze through some of that info for you now.
Yeah.
Again, thanks so much for coming out. This is one of my favorite events that we do throughout the year, and kind of a bittersweet one because this is about as big as we can get it here in the Star of Edmonton space. So likely moving forward, we'll be moving into a larger space, which is awesome. So this is kind of the last chance hackathon in the Star of Edmonton. So take advantage of it. But thanks.
Woo! On that note, I want to give one more hand to Warren, because one thing we've learned is you guys really like food, and Warren gives us a magnificent space at zero cost. So let's give it up for Warren. So I apologize, the boring stuff, but it needs to be said, partially because we guys want you to have the best experience, and also we want you to be safe. So I'm just going to cover some really quick topics, and then we can move on to the fun stuff. So internet, once we're done presentations, we'd like to request you please don't stream video unless it's relevant to your project, because 125 IVU on 1 to 2 internet connections is a lot. So please avoid that. There's also SHA Open, so if SHA Open users are available, you're more than welcome to use that available as well. Also, if you guys missed the many messages that said download your tools beforehand, there is a file server on the network. You have to be using a wired connection, so you can bug someone with a wired connection to say, hey, quickly download something off of it for me. It's got a bunch of tools on it like text editors, Raspberry Pi images, Android Studio. Exactly. Some of the stuff from the presentations will also be on there. So if you say you want to go to the Android talk and you're like, oh shoot, I didn't download Android Studio. Instead of actually going and like burning through that internet connection, just go to the file server and just download the file there. It'll take you like 2 seconds. You get like 100 megabytes down per second. So it'll take you no time versus downloading our very slow internet. Okay, so that's it regarding internet. Building, quick note, fire escapes are at the front and the back, just in case you actually do need to use them. Hopefully we'll not. Also, we have a lot of water bottles. Please reuse them at the water station in the kitchen or just the tap, because we will run out otherwise if you keep just getting new ones. Food locations. So I hope you all saw the pile of oranges and fruits and everything. That's where our snacks are going to be. So you're going to go there. You're going to find snacks all through the night. So if you get hungry and it's not prime meal time, you can just go there, grab a snack. Somebody will be there manning the station. We have so much stuff. Like 22 kilograms of munchies stuff. You should have seen the teller when I had to check that out at wholesale. That was fun. Yeah, and then so we'll also be serving food out of the kitchen. Please don't start lining up until we actually put on the announcements on Slack that food is served, because we will be doing a bit of organizing. So stay tuned to announcements on Slack big time, because we'll be announcing stuff on there. Washrooms are over there. Try and keep them clean. Let us know if something's out of the way or something's wrong. We'll also be putting deodorant spray in there, because this place will get very hot and very sweaty. So just spray deodorant for everybody, just fair use. And so a few other things. Code of conduct. This is a community event, and we do want to keep everybody a very inclusive event. So we are actually following the MLH Code of Conduct. If you're not familiar with that, you can find it online. Also, I believe there's a link to it on our dev post. It's just very clear, very inclusive space, just guideline on what to post and that kind of stuff. But we do want everybody to walk out with a positive experience. So another thing is, if you're ever looking for someone, you need someone in person, like a coordinator or something, we'll always have someone at that front desk where you saw registration. So if you need to go grab someone right away, something's going wrong, there will always be someone there who's coordinating. So you'll be able to go talk to them, get whatever you need. Also, you'll be able to reach us on Slack. We have Do Not Disturb turned off, so you can always go at whoever and you'll hit us. Also, that door at the front is not always unlocked. So it does lock at 9 p.m. and it will unlock at 8 a.m. In the event you are locked out, there is a door access channel, I believe it's called on Slack. Just do an @ to someone in there. So do like @ one of the coordinators, and we'll come and let you guys in. So that's it primarily for logistics. But yeah, just whoops, wrong computer. So just make sure, keep these names in mind. These are the 3 people you can add on Slack, and they should have the answers to everything. I'm on that list there. But yeah, just, it's like, oh no, I have no power. Come talk to us, we'll get it figured out. Also another thing, just because of the number of people, we still actually have people pouring in. So in the next hour or two, don't get too settled in. We may have to do some shuffling with people just to get everybody to fit, because believe it or not, this is not all of you. We're still missing like a good 20 to 30 people. So yeah, as that files in, we will get that sorted out. Let's see what we got here. So what are you supposed to do at a hackathon? That's something I'm going to actually not even answer, because Ben's going to deal with that for me. Ben has an awesome presentation here in a moment. What's so great about hackathons? Honestly, who here likes to play and tinker with that kind of stuff? Just show of hands. Yeah, you're going to love hackathons. Who here likes to learn about random stuff? Yeah, there we go. I think everybody's going to have a great time. And is there swag? Let me put it this way. My bag on the plane cost more than my ticket because there was so much swag in it. And I'm not the only one bringing swag. So there will be a pile of swag. And so how you get help? Again, just Slack or go to the front.
Or mentors.
And mentors, yes. Oh yeah, and if you're looking for general project help, there's a mentors help channel. We have a pile of mentors who are looking to help you out, learn about your project, that kind of stuff. There will always be mentors on hand, so just do...
They'll have name tags.
Yeah, they'll also have name tags. So look for the people with the lanyards. Yeah, Deneen's the only one up there.
Raise your hand if you're a mentor.
Oh, there's all these things. There
Woo! Shout out!
Awesome. And so let's see what else we have here. So nothing else. I don't think we have to cover anything else.
You guys have any questions?
Yeah, questions?
Questions? Anything else? Anybody?
Has anyone had any
Clear as mud?
struggles or concerns or anything really frustrating with the space or setting up or finding a team or anything like that? Yeah.
No? That's good. That's what I like to see. Smooth stuff. Okay.
Before we start, you want to those people sit here?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Why don't we get those guys to file in? Come on. We got a bunch of seats up at the front.
Yeah.
Come take a seat.
We can also stand.
Here with that going.
We're like 90% right. Is there more?
Are you willing to describe the 50-50 split? How that's going to work?
Yeah. Okay. So when it comes to Wi-Fi, you notice there's probably, well, you probably already found somewhere to log on. So we have that guest network with the password Mercer 2016. You'll find that on whiteboards throughout the space. We're going to pin it in one of the Slack channels as well. We also have a Startup Evanston member Wi-Fi, and we're going to have half of the people logged onto that one. It'll be the same amount of bandwidth. It's just meant to balance the load and have better access, better quality internet for everyone. So the way we're going to do that is, if you're set up in this space out here, in this social space, we're going to have you on the guest network. And then if you're set up anywhere else, so in workspace 2 or in the kitchen or in the private rooms there, we're going to put you on the member network. And the password there is Mercer, it's members 2009 with capital M. Again, the login info will be on the Slack. If you can try to loosely stay to that, if you're struggling, you're finding like you're on the guest Wi-Fi and you're not getting anywhere, you can toggle between. But for the most part, we want to stay within those parameters and have this space on the guest network. Again, there's internet switches set up at different stations, both in the social space as well as in workspace 2. If you have the ability to connect to an Ethernet cable there, please do. We have lots of Ethernet cables around. That'll get you the best quality internet. And like Curtis said, if someone needs to download Android Studio or something, they come and find you, please just give that up for a minute, let them get that on their device, and then they'll be ready to rock. Any questions about that?
I will post the address to the file server in Slack later. I added to the slide, so it doesn't look like an update.
How's the navigation hierarchy in the file server side?
It just literally, you hit the file server's IP and it dumps all the files right in front of you, and you just click which one you want to download.
And if you have any, oh, go ahead.
What if your device doesn't have an internet port?
We have some dongles available, but if not, then you'll have to slog it out with Wi-Fi.
Does the file server work through the Wi-Fi?
It doesn't, it's not available on Wi-Fi, unfortunately. You have to go bug someone with Ethernet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or we have the USB stick available
Yes.
as well.
Yeah, we have a USB
Actually,
stick.
that'll be your best bet.
This guy here.
You find Curtis, and we can stick that right in and get you.
Yep. Awesome. Okay, and I think that's it for Wi-Fi. Any last questions? Okay. So Momo's up here. He's got a little mention.
Alright, guys. So we will be having like a Twitter and Instagram kind of competition for a Raspberry Pi by the end of like the entire hackathon. So you guys have to hashtag all your posts with this hashtag right here. It'll be posted on Slack as well. You guys can win a Raspberry Pi. Yeah.
Awesome. Okay. Also, believe it or not, we did not pay for all that food. Some of that food is sponsored. So constantly check our website for things like schedules, and also all our sponsors. If you click on their image, they link to their pages, and some of them give discounts on their stuff. So those are special links. So I definitely recommend checking that out. But yeah, if you have anything about like questions about the schedule or like who's presenting what, even the sponsors or who's what role, that kind of stuff, check our page. And I think that's it for our presentation. I'd like to give a big hand now to Ben from Jobber to present How to Hackathon. Let's give a big hand.
Now we wait. All right, cool. So yeah, first of all, thanks for everyone coming out. I think it's awesome to see you guys all out here for this weekend just to play with some technology, have some fun, build something. So I think that's really cool. I apologize for making you sit for a few more slides, but if you can bear with me, what I'm going to try and do is talk through a little bit about how to make this experience successful for yourself based on some of my own experience doing hackathons. So before I get into that, real quick shout out. I don't normally have facial hair like this. I'm participating in November. Jobber has a team that is, so that's our team. If anyone wanted to help us out, every little bit helps for sure. But in the context of the hackathon, I think two good callouts are one, stay active, which even if that means every hour or so just getting up and walking around for 5 minutes, do that a little bit, stretch a little bit, and sometimes eat the healthy option. So I'm not going to suggest that you can't partake of the usual diet of a hackathon, but maybe when it's not a hackathon, sometimes choose the healthier option. Okay, so why are you here? So there's probably one or two main reasons that you came here, or maybe you have no idea why you're here, and then this will help you think through what you want to accomplish while you're here. So most people come to hackathon for one or two main reasons, either to win or to learn. It's a really good environment for both of those things. So if you're here to learn, a hackathon is a really good way to get some time where you can just like focus on something. You're not thinking about other assignments, other things you have going in your life. Here's this like set amount of time where it's like, I'm going to learn and master this tool. For competitions, of course, it's a great environment for that too. For those who are feeling more competitive, you can work with some teammates. Again, really focus on something, really hammer on something, and try and build something really impressive. Based on whatever the criteria for the judging are going to be, something that's going to really take home the prize. In this slide, as you might have noticed in this deck, as you might have noticed on the previous slide, I'm using some color coding to try and communicate. If it says learn with the learn purple box, it's something about if you're here to learn, so pay attention to those if you're here to learn. If it's blue, it's for if you're here to compete. If the text is green, it means good. If the text is red, it means bad. Green means go, red means stop. Okay, so on the topic of people. Alignment. This is one of the most important things. So you might have come here on your own, or you most likely probably came here with a group of friends, and you have some ideas of what you might be working on this time. If everyone's actually really aligned on like what they want to learn or what they want to build, that can be really, really powerful to get everyone like pulling together in the same direction. But a lot of the time people aren't as aligned as they think they are. Maybe one person's here to compete, the other person actually just wants to learn. And figuring that out now and being honest about that is going to make your experience a lot more successful. If you are here for different reasons or you want to learn different things, there's lots of people here. There's a good chance that you can find someone who's interested in working on similar things as you are. And you're going to have a more successful experience instead of 2 of you on the same team, or worse, 4 of you on the same team all pulling in different directions. Collaboration, so similar to that, if you're here to learn, learning through something with someone else can be really helpful. So again, if you're here on your own, I'd suggest trying to find someone else who's interested in learning something similar to you are. Being able to bounce those ideas and talk things through can really help. Similarly, on the compete side, collaborating with other people just can really increase your horsepower, increase the potential of what you can do. On the downside, working with someone else adds overhead. One of the hackathons I've won in the past, I did solo, and you can see it because as soon as the hackathon started, I could just sit down and start building my stuff while the other teams are spending a few hours trying to organize themselves, figure out what they're all going to be doing. And then the other downside is that if you have a very clear idea exactly what you want to be doing or exactly what you want to be learning, to work with someone else might mean involving some compromise. Resources. So as was mentioned, we've got tons of people here. All the participants will have their own knowledge, their own background, what they've learned in the past. And we also have a big cohort of mentors. I don't actually know what the total number of mentors are. They'll be rolling through over the course of the event. But I did see the list, so it's a long list. So definitely try and take advantage of those mentors, ask questions in the mentor channel. Feel free to grab someone if you have any questions. We'll probably be posting people's various areas of expertise. We did that last time in the mentor channel. It kind of helped direct people to the right places. Make sure you take advantage of those resources. Like spend a little bit of time learning something on your own. Like don't do a knee jerk every time you hit a little problem. But if you're stuck on something half an hour, you've only got so much time. So make sure you take advantage of those resources. Tools. So another big part of a hackathon is using tools. One of the really cool things about like programming and software in general is there's tons of resources out there that are free for you to use. So in Ruby, they're called gems. In JavaScript, you have NPM packages like Python, there's pip. Like, almost regardless what language you're using, there's going to be a lot of libraries out there. And those can help you save a lot of time not needing to do things. So, if you're working on a project, be clear about like what you want to build, and for the things that you don't want to build, maybe that's an OAuth flow or a login system, something like that. There's a good chance there's a library out there that will help you solve that piece of it without you having to build it yourself. On the learning side, sometimes building the thing yourself can actually be a really good opportunity to understand it deeper. Because those libraries are out there, there does develop this tendency to just kind of do this knee-jerk, I'll just find a gem, I'll find a library, I'll install it, and solve that problem for me, which means that we never spend the time to actually learn how those things work. So a hackathon could be a great opportunity to say, if you're here to learn, to say, you know what, I'm actually going to build that myself to see how that really works. On the compete side, be cautious as well, because learning how to use a library doesn't come for free. Some of them are more intuitive and direct to get using. Some of them are a little bit more complicated to use. And if you haven't used a library before, it can be very easy to lose hours to figuring out how to get that library to work. So the best thing would have been, before you came here, to become familiar with any libraries you want to use. If you haven't done that, just be aware and be cautious. If you do end up spending a ton of time going down a rabbit hole in the library, maybe ask around. Someone else might know how to use it. There might be an alternative, something to save you that time. Version control. So I'm guessing is there any Git focused? Okay.
There'll be Git focused.
Yeah, so there'll be some Git focused stuff. Version control is a really, really, really useful tool. If you haven't used version control or you don't know what I'm talking about, if you look at Git or GitHub, those are kind of like the leading tools these days. They help you keep track of all the changes to your files. It helps you merge all the work that your team is doing and avoid doing the numbered versions of a file, myfile.php, .3, that kind of crap. Downside of it is, just like other libraries, there's a learning curve to it. So if you haven't used Git before, it's going to take a little bit of time to just figure out the commands and figure out the right flows to do things. You might go sideways a few times, lose a little bit of work, that kind of stuff can happen. But in general, it's going to be worth it, especially if you're working in a team of 2 or more. The value that you get from version control and being able to collaborate beside each other, be able to pull your work together, be able to see the history of what your team members have done is very significant. So definitely consider investing to version control to start your project. Communication. So Slack's already been mentioned. There's a Slack group set up for this. Hopefully everyone's in there. If you're not, highly recommend getting in there. Similarly to some of the other topics on the Learn side, it will really help you find other people who are either working on the same things that you're working on or are familiar with those same things. It's a great place to ask questions, have discussions. On the Compete side, using Slack to communicate with each other can be very useful, but there's also some other tools that you might want to look at. GitHub has issues built right into your project, so you can start creating tickets of who's working on what, are they finished, are they not finished. That will really help keep your team straight about what each person is doing, where they're at in that, and just avoid a lot of manual communication overhead. Just one thing to be cautious of is noise. So Slack in particular has a tendency to be very noisy. Just like with constant messages, there's always something going on there, and this tendency to feel like you have to be following all the conversations that are happening. Just be cautious with that. To really learn something effectively or really get into the zone when you're building something, you're going to need that time to focus in and spend at least an hour or two maybe without all those distractions. So don't be afraid to go in and D&D Slack for a while. Just make sure if you're going to do that, if you're working on a team, that you let your team members know that. And hosting. Who here has put a project live to the world? Who here had a really easy time putting a project live to the world? Sometimes this can go really smoothly. There's some really good tools out there that provide you a lot of that infrastructure, make it a lot easier so you can focus more on the code. But in general, pushing something live can be a lot of work. Again, a hackathon, if you're here to learn, this can be a great opportunity to play around with some of those tools, try and put something up there and learn in the process. If you're here to compete, unless it's something you have to do for some reason in terms of demoing your project or another consideration, you might want to consider just actually not putting it live and running off of one of your team members' computers for the demos. It can save you a lot of time and a lot of headache. Okay, last topic, I promise. Tactics. Pace is a sprint or marathon. Of course, this is generally more of a sprint, but you need to make sure you actually make it to the end of the sprint. On the Learn side, if you start hating some things, you're trying to use this library and you're getting some error about OpenSSL. Sometimes it can actually be really interesting to chase some of those tangents and understand deeper, what's going on in the system, and learn something lower level that you might have not actually intended to be here to learn. That's where some of the best learners can actually come from, are the ones that you weren't deliberately here to learn, the things that you just kind of discover as you're working. On the Compete side, take some time to plan, as I was mentioning. Make sure you're coordinated, you know who's doing what, you figured out how to split up the work, but don't spend too much time on it. I can guarantee whatever plan you set up in the first 30 minutes of the hackathon is going to fall to pieces within the first 4 to 5 hours. So don't plan out this perfect plan of exactly at what hour everyone's going to be doing what kind of work. Organize, but keep it loose. And then, like, of course, in both cases, find that right balance between moving fast and tripping on your own toes, especially if you're, like, trying to compete. You see this one problem, you hack around it this way, 2 hours later, that hack that you did is coming back to haunt you and ends up taking you longer than if you just solved it properly. That happens. And just trying to make those judgment calls of whether I just, like, fix this with Band-Aids and bubblegum or whether you actually fix it properly is always a hard decision. And the right answer is going to be somewhere between always fixing things properly and always hacking through things. And then divide and conquer. So we mentioned this a bit earlier too. So on the compete side, being able to break up the project so that each person can focus on one area and how those things are actually going to tie into each other can be really powerful. It means each person can kind of go off and focus again, get really focused and deep in what they're doing, execute on that really well, and then you can pull those pieces together. Just one word of caution that work at the end of actually making those things pull together and work together often takes more time than you anticipate. So a really good strategy would be periodically checking in, seeing if they actually can talk to each other, work with each other, instead of waiting until that last hour. I've seen a lot of groups really, really panicking and sometimes not actually able to get everything to pull together right at the end. So I'd recommend being proactive if you're going to be doing that, splitting up the work. And sleep. So we're here. When's the actual technical pens down?
Noon to noon.
Noon to noon. So 24 hours. In some ways that's a lot of time. In other ways that's not that much time. So there definitely could be, a real push to try just like push through the full 24 hours without sleep. You guys are young. There's energy drinks. You can probably make that work. But just be aware that that's not always necessarily the best strategy. For what we're trying to do here, it's hard. It's creative work. You are going to be less effective when you're sleep deprived than when you're not sleep deprived. I can guarantee you that. So that balance between time versus effectiveness is just something that you'll need to make a decision of. Personally, I really believe in getting sleep, even a hackathon like this, even if it's just 4 or 5 hours. Judging. So if you're here to learn, don't get distracted by the judging. Just do what you want to do. If you're here to compete, make sure you understand what you're actually going to be judged on. Again, a classic example of this is where developers work their asses off for 23 and a half hours, making this really great thing, but don't think at all about how they're actually going to present it. And they go up to present, and what they show doesn't make sense, or it doesn't clearly communicate what they did. So make sure you understand, all the aspects that are going to be involved in being successful if you're competing, and optimize for all of those. Don't ignore the presentation. Don't ignore the factors that are going to be important for your success. Just writing really hard, impressive code does not win you hackathons. And most importantly, have fun.
Kate, just a few other little mentions here. I'm just going to mention that some of you have expressed that you are still looking for a team. So after this presentation, we're going to have a little bit of like a mixer with people who don't have a team and people who are still looking for an additional member. The announcements for that will be posted in Slack after this presentation. So does anybody else have any questions after that awesome presentation? No, man, you guys are paying attention. Oh.
What are the categories?
Yes, so categories. So we have 5 categories for competing this year. We have Best Game/VR, Best Mobile, so that's iOS and Android, Best Web, so that counts all web interface projects, so HTML, whatever. Best Hardware Hack, IoT, that one. And then we have one that's just like the most creative, best wow thing. The judges will be coming from our sponsors. I think we only have one here currently right now. Yeah. Here's our DriveWise judge right here, Stefan. Oh yeah, in the room as well, Robin. Yes. And we have 4 more coming in. But yeah.
Where are those categories posted?
Those will be posted on DevPost. We're still just finishing the details on that.
Is we'll pin them on the Slack as well.
Yes.
And then the really important thing about this hackathon that I think the team has done a really good job of is putting together learning opportunities. So there's over 8 hours of workshops that will be taking place in this room here throughout. So making it really easy for you guys if you want to learn kind of a crash course on Android Studio or many of the other topics as well. So really good presenters, running those like the Unity one as well. So take advantage of those if it's relevant to your project. And even if you just have some time where you think this is something I should be learning about because it'll be useful. This hackathon in particular is really meant for you to get the most of through the learning aspect as well. There's some pretty cool prizes. And the one thing that they didn't mention that you'll want to keep an eye out for, and it'll probably stop you from wanting to D&D your Slack, as Ben said, they have a lot of trivia prize giveaways that they're going to be just randomly posting some fun trivia questions where the first one to respond will get a really cool prize. And so if you keep your Slack on and just keep an eye out for that, that'll distract you a little bit, but you'll get some really cool takeaways throughout the weekend as well.
And with the correct answer, by the way.
With the correct answer.
So, just a note, if you guys are curious about workshops, they're all on hackbeta.compy.club.com. There's a link right at the top. It says schedule. Just hit that. It'll take you to a full timeline of when all the schedule events are. Even food, everything like that. We'll also be posting all that in Slack. Because we're also focusing so much on learning, we're actually going to be trying to give you as much of the presentations afterwards as possible. So after presentations, we're going to be posting slides or tools, whatever, on the file server, so you guys can then go work through the demos if you didn't get to in the workshop, if it's relevant to your project and help you out. But yeah, I think that's that. Any last questions? Let's try this again. Anybody?
I have one more thing.
Man, this guy's really good.
So, we do have time before hacking officially starts. We mentioned we're going to have a chance for people who might not have a team or are looking to add someone to their team to get together. We'll keep that happening in here. So, as we kind of break apart here, stick around and we can have that happen in here. You can, if you have your team and you're ready to rock, you can go make sure you're logged on to the correct Wi-Fi network, have your workstation set up and ready to rock. And then if you want to sneak away, we'll have some tavern vouchers for the Mercer Tavern in the building, which is open to minors as well. I know there's a few high school students in here. And let's give those high school students a round of applause. You are, but it's really awesome that you're here. We're really excited to have you. And yeah, $5 off at the tavern. You can grab those from anyone at the front desk as soon as we break apart, and you can rip down there, grab some lunch, and then hit the ground running when the clock starts ticking at noon.
Yes, so in terms of noon, don't create your GitHub repositories until that clock hits noon, just because we won't accept commits before that. So make sure if you've created your repo, nuke it, and then start again at noon. Part of the stuff. Also, mentors, please stay here as well. We have to have a quick word with you afterwards. But no, yeah. Anyways, good luck. Have fun. There we go. Awesome.
I'm just going to make sure they have those coupons up there.
Yes.
If you want to help facilitate
oh, shoot. I was going to use that.
Oh, well, turn it back on?
Yeah. Sorry. Yeah. Because we got a presentation right at noon. Yo. What's the hashtag? 2017 beta? Okay.
What about code teams?
What are you doing, Arjun? Oh, camera.
Peter.
Okay.
Why do you say 11:15 or 50?
What?
Just jump to this, but not for a while.
11:15, so like 3 minutes. Actually, you can just go right now because we finished, so just head out now.
Gold. Then we go to games. Huh? Open the flat. Then we go to games.
Just grab someone here. It's like it's 2 blocks away. Yeah, literally, like it's literally you head out and go down 104th, and there's one that's like 2 blocks.
Everybody heard it. You just built plus units. I keep doing these things.
Yeah, it's not.
I died because they had to.
I was closer.
Yeah, my goal is guys remember to retweet on
Oh shoot, I didn't
Why is he
I swear I've been there. No, I don't want you to search that area. I want you to search Edmonton. Yeah, I just gotta make a quick mention. Okay, there we go. Finally, we have an objective.
I'm going to be in the next 6 hours.
Yeah, there's one right there. Oh, you ordered my stuff? Oh, okay. So you need a car then? Okay. I will, either I'll drive you, I don't want to drive you because I don't want to you have your car here? Yeah. You took the bus. Shoot. Okay, mentors. Mentors. Okay, quick little mentions. I'm sorry I have to say this, but just a reminder, if you're here from a company, you cannot recruit unless you're a gold sponsor tier. Gold tier sponsor. Pardon me?
How do you know if you're a gold sponsor?
You're either from Jobber, DriveWise, ATV, Intuit, and I know there's more. GiveYCat Silver. Yeah. Shoot. Let me look at the website. I can never remember. There's too many names. Hack Beta.
You guys never merged in my headers.
Jobber, Vroom, and Interdynamics. Those are the other two. So if you're not from those companies, you can't recruit, unfortunately.
Okay.
Also, when you're on shift, try not to cluster and mingle with yourselves. Try and intersperse with our participants, please. Do your best. Get just even if you don't have anything to do, just go ask someone what the project is. It's going to make their day. Honestly, get them to explain it to you. And also, always encourage, always praise. We want people to walk away feeling like they can go learn anything and take on any new challenge that comes to them. And as you saw, there's a huge number of first-timers here. So this is a big impact that we're going to make. So I am so thankful that you guys are here. Thank you so much for coming out. Have a blast. Go take some snacks, food, whatever. Food's open to everybody. So thank you for coming.
Cool.
Thank you.
Anybody want to go?
Actually, the worst. Yo, man. Go, I just write down the What's the Slack?
HackED Beta 2017?
Yeah.
I accidentally joined like the last one. I'm like, oh, HackED 2017? Oh, wow, there's been a lot of activity.
2017. That's hack.com. Thanks.
I'm so helpful.
What email will be accepted?
Pardon me? Oh, you haven't been added? You should have been added.
So I forgot to sign up?
Oh. Okay. Here, I'll add you. Come type your email in here. It's email invite only.
Cool.
What do you got to do for Arista?
I'm just an intern right now.
Okay.
You saw me handing? Oh, yes. Yeah, no. How'd you know I was at Arista?
I just looked you up on LinkedIn. Like I didn't know who you were, and I've never seen you.
Yeah, just an intern right now.
I didn't actually sign up for mentoring before. I just kind of hired beginning tomorrow.
Yep.
Cool. You guys doing like SDN? Is that all you guys?
It's a lot of SDN. I'm on the routing team. Basically, you don't know it, but I'm not coming back after. I've got a full-time job with these guys.
Oh, nice. Cool.
Yeah.
What office?
I was there in Mountain View, and I've been promised somewhere in the Bay Area.
Okay.
I actually had that happen to me on
Nice. Yeah, no.
These things are so handy.
It's like
Yes,
doing this
they
little
are.
answer question.
It's so good.
Oh, I teach you.
Okay, I should copy those files to my flash
did the
drive just so
whole
I have
thing,
them on
and I
hand because right now they're not on my flash drive.
wrong and then did it a different way.
But yeah, no. How long? So I'm guessing you know George then, and
then he's
David
like,
and
then he's like, you
Hayden.
did it right the first time.
Because you're de facto, right?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
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 You know those guys. You know all of them.
Yeah.
Caden. Yeah, Caden's actually coming here. He's just gonna be late.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's see here. I gotta copy those files.
So I can, from Bounce West, I can like push people towards Jobber or DriveWise. I think.
What am I working? What do I want for my
I guess it's
password?
I like the Reliance PO guys. They have an office here. They just put up like a poster on the inside of the glass of like, we're hiring for this junior developer position. I like that.
That's great. It's totally allowed.
It is their workspace. They can put up whatever they want.
Yeah.
Can't tell us what to do with our office.
So smart. Those guys are awesome.
What team did you work on when you were there last?
At Google?
Yeah.
I was on the kernel team doing Chrome OS development on audio. So like it's really nice because it's open source. So they said your work is too experimental to go in the repo. So they're like, so what do you want me to do then? They're like, GitHub. And I'm like, okay, you want me to put it in like a private corporate one? No, throw it up publicly on your personal. So all my work's on my personal GitHub.
Nice.
Yeah, because he's
Bunch of commits for my Googling.
Cool. I missed this part. You guys want us in the mental health challenge?
Yes, so the mental health challenge where people are going to be asking help. Oh shoot, I need to add you to the mentor private channel as well.
So the mentor channel, you're supposed to put in like what
I have to charge my phone.
Yeah, yeah, I have a charger. Oh, what's your phone?
1+1.
Oh, spyware phone.
Okay.
Spyware phone.
Sorry.
It's running Cyanogen too for extra features.
Do you need anything?
Actually,
No, I think we're good. I just got we just gotta get that mingle thing going on in here,
Yeah,
and then we're good to go.
From the sound, there was one person that approached me saying she hasn't found a team yet, but she has a friend that's coming, and they're just kind of working out what they might want to work on. But it's also they've never done any programming before, so they want to sit in on a bunch of the workshops. So I was like, you don't have to have something right when 12 o'clock hits. You can kind of shape that, and you don't have to demo at the end.
Yeah, I gotta find Rajiv because he's doing the presentation in 40 minutes, so I have no idea where he is.
Trickling out,
Okay.
but a lot of partnerships.
Pardon me?
That are jumping the queue.
Okay, just shoot.
Basically going
I really want to offer. I wish I could just throw my keys at someone and take it, but it's my brother's car. I don't even know if I can get out. Okay.
We integrate directly in with their system.
Is anyone else able to add me? Like, can George add me to that channel?
I just did.
You did?
Yeah, you should.
Service rules.
Customization
When
rules.
you pick up, when you deliver it.
Yeah, just bring your own. Sorry, what's your name? Oh, Ivan. Ivan? Okay, yes, Curtis. Okay, so you're doing jobbers. Okay, awesome. Yes. Frick, can you check in, like, see if you can, like, go bug Lightning Squad there, or go bug anybody at the front seating and ask them if they have their own car? Because I'm kind of host. But yeah, just bug around and see until. Or did you have a car here, or do you bus?
Do you have a hard drive?
I have a hard drive. I have a really fat USB stick.
I have 128 gigabytes of footage.
64. But I've got pile space on this thing. Plus,
Because I don't have
we can dump it
space
on the file server. I've got a 2 terabyte drive.
And then this is like my San Francisco footage.
Just want the experience.
Yeah, it's fine. You can push it off later.
Okay, it's cool.
Yeah, just
Because
give it to me and I'll dump it.
I'll end up going. Yeah. Well, I'll go home and get my terabyte, but it's just so that I can like film
while you're
for
going.
now.
Yeah. I can even put it on my computer.
Okay, either one, it doesn't matter to me, but like, yeah, I need to like, I need to be able to vlog the hackathon.
How much is this thing right now?
So high that you can't afford them there.
60 gigs.
And stuff, and then you go.
And so I can just,
Wait, it's only 60?
Yeah, it's only at 60 right now.
Because it says, but the SSD card is 128, so why does it?
It's a 128 available. What the heck? No, that folder. You've got hidden stuff in here. Maybe you didn't. You know what it is? Probably your dot trashes is probably full. Let me nuke that.
reapply for the grant.
Titled 1.
Then jump back into
LS-L.
Oh, that's hilarious.
LA.
Because they said it wouldn't be a problem originally, and I was like, oh, it is a problem.
That does not tell me the size. Dang it! What the heck? I said LS-H.
Cool.
Wait, who has to leave Startup Edmonton and come back? Chris?
Oh, Chris, yeah.
Oh, wow.
My partner.
Okay, why though?
Because apparently it dissolves some of the whole applicability to grants.
Oh, that's so weird.
You can't apply. They
If you're
said
a
it
part
wouldn't be
of-
a problem. So Startup Edmonton's pissed, and they're like, "You said it wouldn't be a problem," and we went through all this work. Now, and then the last thing, I'm like, "Oh no, bureaucracy, it's a problem."
I'm just gonna delete your .trashes folder, and I bet that will remove a pile of space.
Yeah, sure, go ahead.
He'll come back, and then because there's no more teaching for him anyway until January, so.
Yeah, because 64 gigs you said, right?
That's how big your thing is.
Yeah, so there should be like
Yep,
double.
available 67.3
Okay,
now.
perfect. That works.
So we don't have any
Just
equipment
to check
version of this.
Yo.
You have to do it
Army?
only a couple days.
I need to get Rajiv sorted out. But once that, what is yeah,
Can I
Marcus.
do that?
Huh?
Potentially? Can I do that potentially?
Do the get Rajiv sorted out?
Yeah.
Yes, that's fine.
Okay.
If you can do that, then I can drive.
Yeah, okay.
Yes.
Drive Marcus, he needs to go.
Yes, we need to find. Yes, so find Rajiv from Intuit. He's doing the first presentation at noon. It's QuickBooks Online. Get him set up. Do the thing. After he's done, post all his content to the app.
It's just like, ask if you have issues, and then you just try. Okay, I'm here, you just. Okay, but like, let's go. So ask if you have that. Yeah, I need to go post some mentors and be like, this is what I'm good at. I was say, okay, I should be like, I'm ready to response on. I can't. Pretty much. Yeah. I can't note. It's the worst. Actually, I said, space.
Sure.
I know. They're like,
Yeah, we can just hang on.
because we're low on space. Jen doesn't know, and no said,
Do it this month later. Okay, I'll just walk the Yeah.